My name is Patricia, and today I'll be discussing how social structure theories, specifically strain theory, social disorganization theory, and subculture theory, help explain the future prospects of young men like James and Mufasa. James and Mufasa grew up in an area or an environment that they deemed as dominated by code of the streets. The code of the streets, it basically describes informal or just a society known thing of just respect and survival, toughness and survival strategies. Um, they just really kind of prioritize it. It's just a known thing. The strain theory was developed by Robert Merton, I think that's how you say his name. He suggests that crime results when there's a gap between society's cultural goals and one's self goals. When I say society's goals, it's more like wealth, success, things like that. Um, and it can sometimes be seen as unachievable because of the strain theory, because of criminals in a criminal mind, it's unattainable. For example, James and Mufasa, they grew up in a disorganized neighborhood, a little rougher neighborhood. They didn't have as much access to good education or stable jobs or just even supportive people, and so that's very limited to them. They don't really have that outreach. It's not that James and Mufasa don't see the value in society, or they don't see value in success, or they don't see value in respect. It's just they don't feel that it's achievable for them, considering their circumstances and how they were raised and where they come from. And as a result, many people do turn to other ways and other methods, which are criminal activity, like selling drugs, gang affiliation, just to gain a sense of self, or a sense of respect, or a sense of authority, or a sense of security, or even money reasons. Social disorganization theory is more so about the community and its institutions, like schools, churches, or even families. It's basically where that environment is created, where that criminal environment stems from. When you have neighborhoods, or you have places that are high in poverty, it becomes harder for the individuals in that community to just honestly be able to live like comfortably. They don't really have any ties or any trust with law enforcement, or a social control group, or anything of that nature, or even just people inside of their community. They don't have a lot of trust. It's really hard for them to adjust to trusting, because they live in such a crime-ridden area. And subculture just really emphasizes how groups facing marginalization, they develop their own social norms and values. They don't go based off of what society deems as normal. They're low. They tend to be opposite of the mainstream of what society deems normal, or good values, or normal values. They're not as they don't work. They create their own values and their own norms, and that's what they go based off of. James and Mufasa can definitely break this, I'll say, generational curse. This generational curse. And you might be wondering how, why, what makes me think that they can. And I will honestly simply say, the first step is mentor. Some type of mentor that can guide them in the right direction, because they don't know exactly what they're looking for or what they're supposed to be doing because they're not raised in that environment. So the first step would maybe one be acknowledging, oh, I need help. Two, actually getting that help, whether there's education, whether that's mentorship, and whether that's refocusing on rebuilding your views and your values. Also, like your community, get more involved. Um, Go to like organizations. There's many things that can help with this transition of wanting to be something more or somebody else. Um, Also, economic opportunities, maybe like jobs, better working jobs and better neighborhoods. You never know. Sometimes you have to put yourself in other people's shoes and step outside your comfort zone to even enter your comfort zone. Um, and also community, like trusting your community, trusting your officers, your law enforcement agencies, just building community trust, learning how to coincide with one another based off of trust. In conclusion, social theory helps us recognize, understand, and see that behavior isn't just about like an individual's choices or individual's personality, but it can really be a big part of their environment and how people are raised and how they grew up. Understanding the role of strain, disorganization, and subculture really helps us see both like viewpoints in life. Whether you come from poverty or whether you come from wealthiness or maybe you're middle class, being able to recognize all three and see it, it really puts you at the front line of understanding why everyone is different, why everyone acts different, why crime is committed,